We are here to talk about feminine hygiene on the Camino de Santiago. We get a lot of questions on our channel about what to do when you have to go pee on the trail, or like how do you deal with your period when you're on the Camino. We're here to answer a lot of those questions for you today. I'm joined today by my friend Sarah. We've walked 3 routes together, so we want to give you a double female perspective on this very important topic. I'm Lainey.
And I'm Sarah.
And this is Days We Friend. For those of you who've never walked the Camino, there's a couple important pieces of information you need to know about the trail. As most popular Camino routes, you're never more than 5 to 12 kilometers away from a bathroom. So really you have about an hour to maybe 2 hours between bathroom breaks, but sometimes, you gotta go between those moments. If you're passing through a town and you need to use the restroom, you can go to a bar and purchase something. Or if you don't want to purchase something, you can leave €1 with the bartender to use the bathroom. It's really rude to just use the bathroom and leave somewhere. That's like the equivalent of like dining and dashing, but it's totally normal in Spain to pay for the bathroom. Bathrooms in albergues that you're going to be staying at night typically are stalls, and sometimes they're unisex, and sometimes they're just like, this is the women's and this is the men's room.
Soap is not always guaranteed on the Camino at the albergues or at bars or restaurants in Spain.
So we always like to bring a couple things with us. One of those things is soap flakes. Essentially, when your hands are dry, you take a soap flake out of your pocket. I always keep mine in my waist bag.
I also keep my soap flakes in my waist bag.
Other thing we always have is hand sanitizer clipped to our bags on the outside. So when you're on the trail and you want to eat a snack, you use your hand sanitizer first, or after I've gone pee outside, you always hand sanitize after that as well.
Stay clean on trail.
So now let's get into some of the details. What do you do when you are on the trail and you're not in town and you have to pee?
It's time. For peeing on trail, we like to bring something known as the cooler cloth.
So the cooler cloth is a pee rag. You can use toilet paper to wipe after you have squat to pee, but we don't like to do that because you need to pack out your toilet paper. There's nothing more disgusting than seeing used toilet paper all over trail, and people just think it will biodegrade, and it doesn't. It'll last years and years and years. And once one person does it, everyone else thinks it's okay to leave toilet paper. So we like to use the washable pee cloth. We both love this brand from Cooler Cloth because the way they're designed is just so useful.
The cooler cloth is made with an absorbent antimicrobial material on this side, which is the side that you use for your body. And then the other side is a waterproof material so that urine does not touch your hands. These are not intended for number 2. This is just for urine.
There's designs in pretty colors. There's some variety of sizes sometimes. These are like the normal size. Sarah's got like the cute little mini one.
I got the mini.
And this is a female-owned and female-run company, and we love supporting businesses that are creating like good solutions for other females on trail. And every day when we get to the albergue, we hand wash these. They're made to use multiple times throughout the day, and then you just hand wash it. They dry overnight, and it's clean for you to use the next day. So you're gonna unsnap it, and then you pat to dry, and then you just snap it back onto your bag, and it won't get pee over everything, and there's space to dry. The way I do it is it's like clipped on my bag, but to use it, I have to unclip the whole thing and take it off my bag. So sometimes I'm like rummaging around a lot to get to it, or I take my bag off to unclip my cooler cloth. But Sarah has a really cool solution.
On this bag, I have one of those ID card badge holder things that extend out like this. And I put a mini carabiner on the end. When I'm using this on trail, I don't have to take my backpack off. I can just pull it from behind. I know where it is on my bag. I just pull it down and use it. Snap it back up, and it sits like that on my bag.
When you are looking for a place to squat to pee on trail, we've got a couple tips for you, because I think it causes a lot of anxiety among people who aren't used to going on day hikes, or maybe like the Camino is really outside your comfort zone. We get a lot of questions about this. You can get comfortable with squatting. Sometimes I use my hiking poles for like support to stand back up, because I'm like wearing my backpack or my knees feel really achy that day. You can also kind of like grab onto a tree and like use it to help support support you up and down, like as you're bending.
Whatever you need to do in order to make this comfortable.
Yeah.
Because it's already uncomfortable that you're going outside.
You could practice like squatting at home, not like peeing, but literally just like do some slow squats to get your hips kind of used to that motion. If you want to think of it as like part of your Camino prep. And if it's windy, pee with the wind. It will get all over your shoes.
Let's say that you do accidentally pee on your shoe. After you're done and you've pulled your pants up, you can just pour some water on your shoe.
Some people ask us about pee funnels. You can bring a pee funnel if you'd rather stand up and like not have to pull all your pants down, but it's just another piece of gear you have to carry and wash and clean. So neither of us use those items. And we've heard that you have to like practice with those to understand how to not splash back on yourself. If you are really worried about like your butt being exposed on trail and feeling vulnerable when you like bend down to squat, we know some pilgrims really like to wear a skirt or a dress when they hike because you're much less exposed and it's less like buttons and buckles to do when you pull up your pants. It's a little faster. It's that time of the month and your period is here. Congratulations. You have to deal with it on the Camino.
Yay!
If you're a person who has a period and you have to deal with this on trail, there's a couple different options, but our main takeaway is you have to have that option be something you do in regular life also. The Camino is not the place to just try a new method of dealing with your period because it's not going to be a fun place to do that. Our favorite way of dealing with this is using a menstrual cup because it's small, reusable, doesn't weigh very much.
I love using a menstrual cup. Super easy. You can keep it in long, dump it at the beginning of the day, dump it when you get to the albergue, and in between you should be, depending on your flow, you should be okay and not have to stick your trail fingers anywhere that you need to when you're using it.
That's the reason we like the menstrual cup is because you can in theory keep it in all day long and you don't have to deal with this on trail.
Worst case scenario, if you're on the trail and you have to dump out your Diva cup, there are a couple of steps. One, make sure your hands are clean. If I'm expecting to menstruate on the trail, I bring a small Ziploc bag of wet ones to help with cleaning my hands, cleaning my body, being clean. If you're going to be dumping out the contents of this cup, you do need to dig a hole and do the leave no trace policy of digging a hole, dumping the contents in, and covering the hole off trail as much as possible.
Leave no trace, in case we haven't said that yet. I don't think we have. Exactly. Here's a rainbow. Leave no trace. You should be leaving only footprints and taking only photographs. Girl Scouts. The cup needs to be washed between dumping it. If you're in an albergue that is stall and then the sinks are in the public, you kind of have to be okay with like going to that sink to rinse it and then going back in the stall to reinsert it. And if that's something you aren't comfortable with, then maybe the cup isn't the right thing for you to use. If you aren't a person who uses a cup, it's really easy to purchase tampons or pads in Spain. You don't have to carry a bunch of them around if you're not like particular about a certain brand that you like to use. These are all ones that I've actually purchased on the Camino when I'm like, oh, it was a short route. I don't really want to carry the cup with me. I'm have enough space in my backpack to like halfway through the route buy the tampons I need. And so that's what I've done. You can buy tampons that are very similar to the ones in the US. You can get those ones that are like similar to the OB without the applicators. But on the Camino itself, I actually like to use something with the applicator. So if I'm changing it on trail, I'm not sticking my fingers that are dirty up. You can get like the ones that are a little smaller. These are just Tampax brand. You can get them in the grocery store and they have like the applicator that extends out. Something to remember though is if you are removing a tampon and putting a new one in on trail, you need to pack out that tampon and throw it out in a trash can. So again, bringing some tissues or wet wipes or some extra toilet paper and some extra bags to put the garbage in is very useful.
If for whatever reason you don't bring trash bags with you, we're talking about those little veggie bags that you can get at the grocery store. Those work perfectly fine. Or if you have a spare Ziploc, like, oh, I was saving this for like random snacks. Guess what? It's a trash bag now.
It's never having snacks in it again. You can also use pads. You can buy them at the grocery store again, like small ones, big ones, whatever you want to use.
If for whatever reason you need to replace your menstrual cup, let's say that you had a fumble in the bathroom and it fell in the toilet, it's dead to you. Don't reuse that. Don't fish it out to throw it away, but don't fish it out to use it again. It's done. You can buy a new one at a pharmacy. You can buy a new one potentially at a grocery store.
The grocery stores in Spain, you'll have maybe one or two options for a cup. Sometimes when you go to a pharmacy, they'll have way more options. You can always ask the pharmacist because they're very knowledgeable and trained in helping you with many different problems.
Another option for menstruating on the Camino is period underwear or reusable pads.
And that's a great option if you're okay with washing them every day. And just be aware that sometimes it might take a little longer for them to dry. If you're doing a route like the Norte or something else along the coast that is more humidity, it's going to take longer to dry than if you're on the Frances. Let it dry.
Let it dry.
Emergency supplies for when you need to go, number 2. Not everyone needs to bring these things. This section here is for those of you who know you have a little bit of a rough tummy. If you're going to go on trail, you need to bring some kind of trowel or digging tool, which makes it easier to dig 6-inch cat hole, which is the length of this trowel, which so you can go to the bathroom in. If the ground is like really soft, I've used my hiking pole before sometimes, that works, but it's way easier with a trowel.
Just a tip for digging that cat hole. If you feel like you don't have enough time to dig a cat hole, it is okay to go on the ground off trail, dig the cat hole afterwards, and scoop everything into the cat hole and cover it. Be as thorough as possible though, because sometimes it can't wait and it's better to dig the cat hole afterwards and put it in than not dig a cat hole at all.
What do you do with the toilet paper? You have to pack that out. I bring a plastic bag with other plastic bags inside it. There's some extra toilet paper. Some of these are napkins and extra bags, because if I did need to use it, I'd put the used toilet paper in the bag, and then this bag gets thrown away with everything inside.
I brought a little baggie of wet ones and then used those produce bags as trash. Didn't need them, didn't use them, thank goodness.
But yeah, if this is something you're worried about, your hand sanitizer, your wet wipes, and having like some extra bags, you can even bring like WAG bags, those like biodegradable ones for dogs. Having a couple items will just give you some peace of mind.
Sometimes unfortunate events occur, like UTIs and yeast infections.
A couple tips to help prevent those things. One of the obvious is drink a lot of water. We also wash our underwear every single day. I like to wash my underwear when I get to the albergue, and then when I've showered, I put on the new pair, and that pair is what I wear until the next time I shower. In terms of underwear, we like to look for something that's breathable and like sweat wicking, and something that's made for sports. And there's lots of cuts of underwear that work for that, lots of different brands and materials. I've used the ex officio ones, which were like they're sport mesh ones. Currently, I really like wearing merino wool underwear.
It is important to wear underwear that can breathe. It means it lets airflow go through. You don't want to have super restrictive clothing.
We've linked some of our favorite items in the description below, so you can check out anything that we're mentioning in the description. So now we're going to touch on a couple hygiene things that are not exactly women specific. We're going to talk about showering and like our hair. You want to shower every day.
Yes.
Every day at the albergue or wherever you're staying. And some places provide soap for that if it's a hotel or a pension or somewhere a little nicer, but most albergues, as we've said, don't have soap or shampoo or anything in the bathrooms for you. So we like to bring soap. This is a Dr. Bronner's soap bar, and I keep it in this Matador soap bag because the bag allows the soap to dry while it's in here, and it's amazing. So my soap lasts a lot longer and it's not all sticky when I pull it out. But I use this soap for my body. I use it in my hair. I use it to wash my clothes. I use it to wash my face. I love the Dr. Bronner's, and it works really well for me. My hair is not the cleanest on the Camino, and I'm washing it with this soap because at home I have like nicer shampoo and conditioner. But for me, it's good enough. I'm wearing a hat most of the time, but maybe you want some other options.
I don't like using shampoo in my hair. I use conditioner like it's shampoo. When I would land in Spain, I would buy conditioner at the store in a small bottle. It's super easy to find. I've been able to find it all over Spain.
You found it in the grocery stores?
Grocery stores. Yeah, grocery stores all over Spain, or pharmacy has some stuff. I usually pay about $3 for a small bottle of conditioner. This trip, I ended up using a solid conditioner bar, and I liked it very much because I was able to cut off the chunk that I needed in order to do this 8-day trail that we did.
And this is not a full bar of soap. Just like Sarah said, I cut off either a quarter of the bar or a half of the bar, depending on the length of the trip. Bars of soap are heavy, and so are all the things you're going to use in your hair. So solid conditioner or a solid shampoo is going to be a lot easier to carry than something that's liquid.
If you use a product at home and you like it and you want to bring it on your Camino, do it. Just decant it into a smaller container.
In the showers in the albergues, oftentimes it's like a shower stall, and your stuff is going to get wet in that stall. Like there's no hooks or partitions between you and the water and the rest of the stall. So we like to bring a couple items to keep our fresh clothes dry and our valuables dry too that we're bringing into the shower stall. One of those is a hero clip. I have the size small, Sarah's the extra small, and essentially these open up so you can hook the clip on the shower door on the inside. And then in the clip part, I like to hang a dry bag, and that dry bag contains all my stuff. And it can be a big dry bag, small dry bag, or it can be a plastic bag, but something where your clothes aren't going to get sprayed and wet. Because yeah, you want to change in and out of that shower stall. You don't have to, you could change in the middle of the shower, but sometimes it is a unisex bathroom and you need to go into the shower stall for some privacy. And don't forget your sandals for the showers, because public showers are gross and you might get athlete's foot. That happened to me on the Camino once. Don't be that person.
Find sandals that are comfortable to walk around town and also be used as shower shoes.
On the trail, I turn into Sasquatch a little bit because I don't pack a razor to shave my legs or my armpits. I just let it grow. If I'm on a really long trail, something that's more than 2 weeks, I will often buy a pack of disposable razors at a grocery store and split it amongst my friends and Shawn, and I'll have a day where I'm like, it's leg shave, arm shave day, like it's happening. Absolutely nothing wrong with never shaving, but I personally like having my armpits a little cleaner, but I sacrifice that on the Caminos.
There are plenty of razors, huge selections at grocery stores. You can choose your own adventure when it comes to razors. You can also bring one from home. I brought one from home, my first Camino, and I did not use it.
Also, if you're shaving all of the time in the showers and you're in any kind of albergue with a shared shower, it's not really polite to take that much time in the shower every day. It's better to do a quicker shower so that other people can use it, because there's guaranteed someone waiting for you or waiting for that hot water that you then used all of because you shaved your legs every day. We both minimize the amount of brushes that we bring for our hair. I have like 3 different ones that I will rotate taking with me depending what I feel like. Like I bought this on a Camino once, and then I started using this one because it's boar bristle. And now I've graduated to my even smaller, like I just bring this little wooden comb. Sarah's a nut job here. What did you do to yours?
I took a hairbrush comb and I broke the comb portion of it off, and then I sawed off the rest of it so that it fit in my hand like this. So I can be like Ariel in The Little Mermaid. This works for me. Might not work for you, but just like decanting, try to make it so that it is as packable as possible.
A small
Something
one.
small. Deodorant. I use a natural deodorant. I like using deodorant. You're around a lot of people. Don't be the smelly pilgrim.
I like to use what I use in daily life. If you're using like a big stick of deodorant in daily life, maybe see if you can find a travel size version of it, or just like cut a piece of it off and decant it into something else. I put mine in the little tin. Works great. I just apply it with my fingers because that's me. So on the Camino, I tend to embrace my body in its more natural state. I'm not really wearing makeup. My hair gets a little gross. My leg hair gets long. And I think there's something really freeing about that for me. And I feel really comfortable with that. If you feel like you need to do a little bit more to maintain what makes you feel good on trail, there's no shame in that. But we hope we just gave you a little options to feel more comfortable with dealing with your period and peeing on trail, and just use it as an opportunity to just minimize some of the things you do in life, in your daily routine. That's partly why I like the Camino so much. I give myself permission to just be. Thanks so much to Sara for joining me today. You can subscribe to our channel, click the like button. You can also join our memberships if you want a little behind the scenes stuff with Shawn and I. And just remember to have a very buen Camino peregrinas. It's his days we friend.
Days we friend, Ultrea and Susea.